The galaxy had known many terror. It had weathered the rise and fall of Empire old and dust, survived plague born in collapsing nebulae, endured wars so vast their scarcity shimmered in the cosmic background. And yet through every age, every cycle, one truth had endured. There was only one true Deathworlder species. The Circad Dominion believed this with the religious certainty of a people forged in agony. Their homeworld, Karask, was a place where life clawed its way out from boiling ocean and blistering storm, where the ground itself hunted and every living thing learned to run before it learned to breathe. The galaxy feared the Circat and the Circat feared no one. For 10,000 years, they had roamed the star, conquering lesser species, demanding tribute, and asserting what they believed was ordained by nature itself. Strength belonged to those born from death. They had classified thousands of worlds, ranked them, studied them, and judged them. And their verdict was always the same. No world was a lethal à Karask. No species is hardened as a Circat. No rival among the stars. No exception. Until recently. Because somewhere, in a key arm of a key spiral, beneath a yellow sun and around a little blue world, something else had been born. Something that did not fit into Circat doctrine. Something contradictory. Something impossible. A species not carved from poisonous ocean or volcanic trench. But molded by struggle, persistence, hope. A species that bled easily yet healed quickly. That broke often yet grew stronger after every fracture. That died frequently yet refused extinction so profoundly that even the galaxy had whispered their name with curiosity. Human. And the Circat for the first time in their long, iron-plated history were about to learn a truth they had never considered possible. They were not the only Deathworlder. The story began at the edge of the Sinus Divide, aboard the Circat Dread carried Tarkunbesh, a vessel so enormous it blotted out sunlight from months it passed. Commander Raltek stood before the viewing platform, arms crossed, talons tapping against the railing in a steady, impatient rhythm. He was massive, even by Circat standard a predator born. A veteran of campaign where cities burned, ocean boiled, and lesser species begged for mercy. HIS Scalbor dozens of scar, each a badge of triumph. Report Raltek growled. Subcommander Vrina bowed low. We have arrived at the coordinate, Commander. The anomaly reading originated from a small terrestrial world. Classe 8, oxygène rich, water abundant. The local call it Earth. Raltek snorted. A soft world. Another Earth species planet. We will pacify it quickly. Vrina hesitated. Commander, there have been unusual intelligence report. Raltek turned a cold eye toward her. Speak. The species display atypical resilience. They adapt unusually fast. Their history show wars. Many wars. Too many for a soft world species. They have survived global pandemic, self-inflicted catastrophe, climatic shift. Raltek slammed a talon onto the console. Enough. Adaptation is not strength. Surviving your own foolishness is not evidence of power. They also developed orbital weapon and fusion prototype while still tribal. It doesn't matter Raltek's path. They are not Deathworlder. Only we are. He stalked towards the holo display, studying the projection of Earth, the swirl of white clouds, the wide blue ocean, the continent pulsing with the lights of civilization. Pathetic, he thought. Beautiful, but soft. Lively, but fragile. Prepare the landing party, the commander order. We will take specimen. The scientist wished to dissect this human resilience. But while Raltek saw a weak, fertile world ripe for domination. The galaxy, quietly, patiently, watched him walk towards the greatest mistake of his life. The Circat landed outside of a human city called Lyon. Their shock troop marched through the outskirts, expecting panic, surrender, and collapse. Instead, they found something else. A barricade. Makeshift, rushed, not military grade at all. But behind it stood human. Not soldiers. Not trained warriors. Civilians. Yet they didn't run. One circat soldier whispered, why do they remain? They are not armored. They are not armed. Another replied, perhaps they are paralyzed with fear? The human stared at them eyes wide, breathing fast, trembling slightly, but unmoving. Then an elderly man stepped forward, can in hand, voice steady despite the shaking in his bones. You're not taking her home. The circat scoffed. This is not your decision to make, soft one. The old man swallowed, then raised his chinige. Doesn't matter. We'll fight. Don't care how strong you think you are. Raltek watched from the rear, his expression irritable. Et admired défiance but only from equal. Take them et commanded. But before the circat troop could advance. Atteindre roar echoed from the sky. Jet. Human fighter jets. Not advanced by galactic standard. But fast. Precise. Fearless. Fearless. They screamed downward in tight formation, their pilots guiding machine that should have been impossible to maneuver so close to the ground. Humans, it seemed, were very good at doing the impossible. The circat were forced to retreat temporarily and not because the humans had superior technology, but because the humans were too reckless to predict. To a circat mind, the sight made no sense. Why would a species risk their own lives so readily? Why would they fly machine into danger that even that worlder avoided? Why? Why were their eyes burning with determination rather than fear? Raltek returned to the dread carrier that night in simmering frustration. They do not behave like prey and muttered. No, Vrina agreed carefully. They do not. And somewhere, deep in the shadow of the ship's research bay, circat scientists reviewed combat footage, whispering among themselves. These humans, they are not like the other. Could they be, a developing that world species? No. Impossible. Only Karask produce Deathborn. But do at Beguin. A single crack. Tiny. Insignificant. For now. The invasion escalated. Human nation united with unprecedented swiftness, all rivalry dissolving almost overnight. The informed the Global Defense Accord. Millions volontaires. Technology was reverse engineered, adapted, and deployed. They learned. They adapted. They resisted. And they did so with a relentless energy alien to the circat. Mara was not a soldier. She wasn't at all, or intimidating, or physically formidable. She was a scientist working for the European Spatial Institute, a woman whose greatest battles had been fought in research meeting, not on battlefield. But when the circat invaded, she did not flee. She went looking for answer. Her team intercepted alien transmission. They risked exposure, arrest, and death to study circat physiology, culture, and strategy. And the more Mara learned, the more a fire grew in her. Because the circat believed strength meant domination. But human believed strength meant resilience. She saw it in her people, in the farmers defending fields with all rifle, in the firefighter pulling survivor from rubble, in the children writing message of hope on scrap of cloth. Human endure. And she intended to show the galaxy how far that endurance could go. Mara was taken prisoner outside Marseille when she deliberately approached a circat en camp carrying a white flag and an old tablet computer loaded with data. Raltek himself confronted her. You surrendered alone, et asked, puzzled. Do your leader abandon you so freely? Mara smiled weakly. No. He came because you want to talk to them. But you'll talk to me. And why would he? Because he have information you don't. And you have question you pretend not to ask. Raltek's eyes narrowed. A low rumble of irritation rolled in Raltek's chest. Mara continued softly, you're curious about us, you want to understand how we keep surviving counterattack we shouldn't win. You want to know why we're not breaking. Raltek stepped closer. You think much of your kind. No, Mara whispered. I think much of life. And for a moment, a brief, fleeting, Raltek felt something he had not experienced in decades. Respect. He had expected one thing. Begging. Tears. But this human woman stood before him with fragile bones, soft flesh, and shaking limb, yet not an ounce of fear in her eyes. Not fear. Conviction. He ordered her to be taken to the interrogation hall not to harm her, but to understand her. And over days and night, they talked. Argued. Debated. Et question. She answered. She question. Et answered. And piece by piece, Mara began to understand the truth. The Circat were not invincible monsters. They were children of a harsh world who believed pain was the only teacher worth trusting. They thought cruelty was nature's design. That empathy was weakness. That domination was survival. She listened to Raltek speak of his homeworld's lethal storm, of creature with venomous blood, of volcanic eruption that swallowed mountains. And she felt no hatred. Only sorrow. Raltek, she said one night, you think life means enduring constant suffering. But life also means growing beyond the suffering that shaped you. He scoffed. Soft world philosophy. Maybe, she shrugged. But it's kept us alive. It's helped us thrive. And yet here you are. Capture. Being captured isn't failure, Mara said quietly. Giving a peace. Raltek didn't know how to respond. No one had ever spoken to him that way. No one had ever dared. And he wasn't sure he had it. As the war dragged on, Circat troop began observing him more closely. A soldier watched a mother shield a stranger's child during an artillery strike. A medic saw him run toward explosion to pull survivor out. A patrol captured a young man who, despite bleeding badly, tried to negotiate for the safety of the Circat soldier he had disarmed. Why defend me? The soldier asked. Because you're alive, the human whispered. Sam me. These moments were recorded, analyzed, and passed up the chain of command. And the conclusion was always the same. Human made no sense. They had soft body, weak armor, fragile bones. Yet they risked everything every time for each other. It contradicted every Deathworlder survival instinct. It violated everything the Circat believed life required. And slowly, dangerously. It made some of them question. The turning point came during the siege of Ankara. The Circat launched a massive offensive, the largest the Earth campaign had seen. Their dread carrier blotted the sky. Their shock infantry marched in black tide. Tanks the size of building crawled over the horizon. And the human? Outnumbered. Outgunned. Heavily wounded. Running out of everything, ammunition, power, hope. Raltek led the charge personally. Victory was guaranteed. Humanity would fall within hours. And yet, when his troop reached the final barricade, they found not an army. But firefighter. Teacher. Doctor. Student. Mécanique. Grands-parents. All standing in a line. All refusing to move. Some holding rifle. Some holding kitchen knife. Some hold nothing but determination. Raltek roared. Why do you stand? You are beaten. A young woman stepped forward, cloth torn, face streaked with soot. Her answer was simple. We stand because there's nowhere left to run. Another man shouted from the side, this is our home. We are not giving it up. But you will die, a Circat soldier shouted back in disbelief. Then we die together. The line of human tightened. And in that moment, something strange, something impossible rippled through the Circat ranks. Fear. Not fear of defeat. Fear of understanding. Fear of realizing the truth. This species was not prey. This species was not weak. This species was not inferior. This species could have been born on a Deathworld. And then the sky cracked open. A barrage of human counter-fear plunged from orbit, missile launched by engineer who reprogrammed capture alien tech, satellite repurposed into kinetic weapon, fighter jet pushed beyond safety limit by pilots who refused to abandon their planet. Every human force from the smallest militia to the last remaining global fleets converged. Raltech stared at the chaos. This cannot be whispered. Buzzy Dim, subcommand Evrina spoke the word the entire galaxy would remember. They are Deathworlder, soft-skinned, fragile, yet Deathworlder still. Because being a Deathworlder wasn't about where you were born. It was about how you lived. How you endure. How you refused to break. And human for all their softness had never once broken. The Circat retreated. Not due to force of arms. But due to the force of truth. Their doctrine had collapsed. Their certainty shattered. Their worldview overturned. And few felt it more deeply than Commander Raltech. Aimé with Mara Ellison one last time before their departure. She stood in the ruin of Ankara, exhausted but still alive, her eyes reflecting both sorrow and hope. Raltech approached her slowly. You were right, he said quietly. Mara blinked. About what? You survive not because you are strong, but because you chose to be stronger tomorrow than you were yesterday. She smiled gently. D'être humain. We make mistake. We fall. We bleed. But we got back up. Raltech lowered his head the closest a Circat could come to a bow. You have changed the Dominion, he said. You have changed me. Mara placed a hand over her hat. Then take this with you, strength is not only born from pain. Sometim it's born from hope. Raltech stepped back, the weight of a revelation settling across his shoulder. Human, he said softly, you have talked to us what even Karask could not. Mara tilted her head. And what is that? And for generations to come, Circat hatchling would whisper the legend with how. They survived US. They talked US. They humbled US. And for the first time, the galaxy understood what it truly meant to be human. If this story moved you, subscribe for more human stories from the star.